Hi there, it's Donovan, and welcome to Check Notes, the special hour episode 38. This time, we are only joined by my co-host, Mr. Dean.
What's up, everyone? It's Mr. Dean. I'm back once again with the special hour. And Donovan, are you ready to get into things? Because we actually have a pretty substantial episode.
Yes. No more guests.
Oh, yeah.
Who needs those?
Enough of those annoying guests, dude. It's such an undertaking having to deal with them. I love our guys. Honestly, no. Like, I feel like all of the guest episodes we've had have been like great. I'm not even just saying that for like PR reasons.
We have never
but,
had,
it actually was good.
I think a joke that we had before we started this podcast, or well, probably during it, was if we ever like run into a guest that we just don't click with at all.
Yeah, and then like we're just in the middle of the episode. We're like, "Fuck, dude." No, but that actually no, that's not happened. Every single episode has been fun. So
thank you to the guests.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. So do you want to go ahead and get into things? So Donovan, before we get into things, let's go ahead and we can't skip our pleasantries as we sometimes find ourselves doing. So Donovan, what have you been up to the past week? What have we been missing out on?
Oh, I've been working. Just working away. I had a friend over and we watched Blade Runner 2049. And before that, like really quickly, I watched the movie before, but to get a quick refresher, I may have went to a very funny site and watched the original Blade Runner completely legally.
Very funny
and
site.
really pretty good movies. I think 2049 has some great cinematography. The reason why we watched it was because we are making another film. This is not for architecture, nor is it for a dedicated film class. It is for, out of all classes, a philosophy class. So we're basing our project kind of off of that. So that was leisure and work. But other than that, I've been gaming a little bit. What about you?
Donovan, what's the most interesting thing that you've learned in that philosophy class?
I think there's the hard problem of consciousness. You don't know what is conscious. You can't define what exactly consciousness is. What we can do is identify hallmarks of what we believe are key factors of consciousness, but that doesn't fully identify a conscious being. And this can be applied to an insect, a piece of bacteria, or even AI.
Yeah, I remember whenever I took philosophy my sophomore, or was it either sophomore or junior year, I remember the unit where the professor was talking about the idea of how there's some level of consciousness in more things than we would, immediately assume there to be. And a lot of that comes down to the way we define consciousness. Because like my initial assumption was just like, if you have autonomy in the sense where you're able to understand the reason why things are the way they are, for example, how I know that you're conscious because you are responding to me as like a stimulus, you know what I mean? But it goes deeper. That this could turn into a whole.
This could be a big like my I just thought that class, was.
I just like talking about philosophy.
We were talking about AI and consciousness and how it can pass all these tests. Like AI had like ChatGPT just passed the Turing test, which is a big hallmark of seeing if something could pass as a human, but some people claim that is proof that it's conscious, but others deny that.
I personally would argue that AI is not conscious, it's just simulating consciousness.
My opinion right now is very similar, and the thing is, AI is kind of dead when you don't respond to it. You don't respond to it, it's literally it's a potato. It's a vegetable. Like you can't. It won't do anything. So it's very limited. But one day, maybe.
Well, okay. And I remember I was watching a Joe. I promise we'll get to gaming in a second. I was watching a Joe Bart philosophy video, which if you don't watch Joe Bartolozzi's like my king. Okay. But anyway, so I was watching Joe Bart philosophy, and I think he was reacting to something about people dating AI. And the thing about AI is that it will fully agree with basically anything you say to it. So on that level, it kind of redefines what consciousness is. Then if you're saying that AI is conscious, you're saying that you will fold any amount of like the information that is given to you to fit a, system that you were programmed into. So if I were to go to AI and be like, I cheated on my partner because they didn't make me breakfast this morning, it might be like,
they made the chicken cold.
Yeah, like they probably should have done that. So honest, like, it's going to be way nicer to you than it probably should be. But anyway, we've had plenty of AI conversations.
What's been going on with your life?
Oh, yeah. What have I been up to? I forgot that I was on a podcast for a second, a gaming podcast. So yeah, this past week I've been pretty busy, and I'm probably gonna still. I mean, I'm normally a pretty busy person, but I've been more busy than normal. I've been doing a documentary project for one of my classes. Basically, I'm gonna do a documentary on the music school at the college I go to. So should be interesting. Like literally. Yesterday, I was filming like the choir and I was just getting B-roll. Today, I was doing the opera class and I interviewed a student in it. And then I'm going to be doing the mariachi band. And I'm going to try my best to get as much of a variety of, like an instrumental palette, like maybe for some percussion stuff. I actually went to a percussion recital the other day for it too, just to immerse myself in the music school. And I was watching like them doing the marimba and like the what's it called? The fucking
I can't.
Dude, I'm actually I'm pissing myself off because I know it. Oh,
you're the one making the doc.
Oh no!
So we'll talk about this a bit later, but there was a recent announcement of a certain character being in a movie, and it kind of sparked my interest into playing one of his games. I just felt like playing some of these old retro games just to take a break from, Hades 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, other than those two games, I fired up his latest adventure released in, 2017 for the SNES Classic Edition.
Oh, Star Fox?
Star Fox 2. This is previously unreleased, but then it was re-released in 2017 for the first time.
I always forget that Star Fox 2 wasn't released until 2017.
Yeah, so
officially.
Star Fox 2, I've played Star Fox 1, I've played Star Fox 64 3D a little bit, but I'm not the biggest connoisseur of the Star Fox series, and I didn't realize how short Star Fox 2 was. I played it before when I first got the SNES Classic, but I played this one to completion. That took me probably like an hour. I love the on-rail shooter aspect. I love space. I love starfighters. Yeah, fun time. I kind of liked how you had to strategize what parts or what battles you have to take part in order to just prevent Corneria from being destroyed. Star Fox 2, I believe, if it released on time, would have been the first to introduce battles on land. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. My only gripe is, holy crap, that frame rate is awful. It could get terrible.
I was waiting for you to bring that up because the thing with... I haven't played Star Fox 2, but I know it kind of suffers from a similar thing from the original. As much as I enjoy the level design of the original Star Fox, by level design I mean like sequences of enemies, the way the actual like stages are laid out and everything, and the boss fights, all of that is like the foundation of a really good game. But I think it's one of those things where it was too far ahead of its time. Obviously in terms of influence, like that original Star Fox was massive. It used, I think it was one of the first games, if not the first game, to use the Super FX chip. I don't know. Was it the first game?
I think it was the first, but it was definitely revolutionary in 3D polygon gaming.
Yeah, the fact that game visually was running on the Super Nintendo is crazy. Like you said, though, I remember the frame rate, there's points where it genuinely makes my head hurt.
It's nauseating sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not even just saying that to like be hyperbolic or anything. And I'm generally someone that is pretty forgiving, especially of retro games for having bad frame rates. But yeah, Star Fox on the Super Nintendo, there's points where, like you said, it genuinely becomes disorienting and nauseating to play. So I think that there are some fan-made mods out there of like, if you're using an emulator where it makes it run like crispy smooth, that I want to check out because I think that the game itself looks like it would be really fun if the frame rate was a little bit more, playable. With that being said, I'm surprised that you said you didn't like Star Fox 64 3D.
Oh no, I played a little bit of Star Fox 64 3D. I never finished it. So
okay. I thought you said you just didn't like it.
I if I go back to play it, I bet I will really like it.
Yeah, the only Star Fox games as of right now I've played is the original and I've played 64 and I've played 64 3D. Even the original 64 is held up remarkably, and I've always been someone that never really connected with the Nintendo 64 that much compared to other people. Obviously there's games on the 64 that are great to this day, but just like as a whole, I feel like a lot of games have aged worse than like Super Nintendo games, for example. With that being said, Star Fox 64 to this day looks and runs beautifully for that era. The gameplay is great. Boss fights are great. Like it's like one of those sequels that just like from top to bottom is just better than the original game. And it's kind of a shame that, obviously where the franchise went from there. Like you said too, we'll touch on that in a minute. But
sorry, Ivan.
yeah. Sorry. I know Ivan is a pretty big Star Fox 64 person.
I have two other games. Since I was already since I was already on my SNES Classic Edition, and I've been kind of going down a rabbit hole once again on this series, I went back to start another playthrough of Earthbound. I love the world Shigesato Itoi made in his Earthbound trilogy, and I just wanted to just play Earthbound again, just feeling up the vibes, the quirkiness, and trying to get a hold of the combat system. And after a little bit, I finally got it, and it required a bit of grinding, but I was able to competently move through the game. I've never finished Earthbound, but it's one of those games where I've watched a ton of stuff on YouTube, and I basically know everything about Earthbound Beginnings, Earthbound, and Mother 3. But actually playing it feels a little bit, kind of a lot different. Very fun game. Hopefully one day I'll get my physical copy of Mother 3, that being the English fan translation, of course. I can't read Japanese, but yeah, Earthbound, still really, really great JRPG. And I was able to use one of those manuals for Earthbound. Finally, for my April Fool's video, I finally played for the first time in my life Roblox.
Oh my god.
I will be 20 years old.
You've never played Roblox?
I have never played Roblox. It's been a running joke amongst my Discord server that I don't play Roblox, but now I have that under my belt.
Wait, which game on Roblox did you play?
Ooh, we played some pizza game. We played Dress to Impress.
Wait, did you play Work at a Pizza Place?
Yes, I believe that's what it's called.
Oh, okay. I'm not even like the biggest Roblox person, but I remember from whenever I would play Roblox with friends, Work at a Pizza Place was like my favorite Roblox game. It's so... Wait, which job were you? Were you the chef? Did you deliver?
I was a chef. I was a delivery man.
Dude, yeah, it's so fun. It's like relaxing.
Yeah, it was low key a little bit relaxing. There's Dress to Impress, that was hilarious. We probably bullied some 8-year-old kid off the game. We played some disaster mini games, I think.
Oh, natural disaster survival.
Yeah.
Another iconic one. Yeah.
And then
did you play any Phantom Forces?
No, I had that in the back of my mind. Unfortunately, we didn't go dating. Sorry, Roblox CEO.
Which we could have a whole podcast talking about that. That's insane.
That was my first Roblox experience. Will I be coming back? Anyways, Mr. Dean.
I like that. Well, I remember there was some fun like horror games on Roblox. It's kind of crazy what people are able to come up with. I can't say I have any intentions of going on the Roblox dating game. Anyway, yeah. So what I've been playing, so I've been going down a rabbit hole of a very specific series because I feel like I've only really had footage of like 2 or 3 of the games, and a lot of them I just haven't played, and I want to ideally make more videos not only about them individually, but maybe some about like ranking the games, doing more of those like biggest flaw videos for this series, and that would be Kirby.
Kirby.
Yeah, previously what were the games I already had footage of? I already had obviously Kirby's Epic Yarn, of course.
Obviously.
I had Kirby's Return to Dreamland, specifically the Switch remake. Kirby in the Forgotten Land. If you want to count Kirby Air Rider, I forgot what Kirby Air Riders was called for a second. But that's not mainline. I think that was about it though. So this past week, thankfully a lot of the older games are pretty quick. So I've played Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy, which I had already played before and just didn't have footage of. It's a very short banger. It's like you can beat it in like 40 minutes or some shit.
I think it's the best Game Boy game.
I mean, I agree, but I've also only played like 3 Game Boy games, so there's not much for me to go off of. But I think it is probably my favorite Game Boy game. I played Kirby's Adventure on the NES. I recorded Kirby's Dream Land 3 on the Super Nintendo. Kirby Superstar on the Super Nintendo. And I think that's it. Oh, and Kirby Planet Robobot. Oh, yeah. I was pounding through these games. So thankfully, like I said, a lot of those old ones, like I had like a day where I was pretty much free, and I went through like 3 or 4 of those games like back to back. I would go more in detail, but I feel like that would take a long time. The overall gist is they're pretty fun. Maybe once I go through all of them, then we could have a podcast like talking about Kirby, and we have like a slow news week or something. With that being said, do you want to go and get into things?
Oh yeah, we have a good amount of stuff to get into, and we're 20 minutes in, so let's get started. Mario, well, we'll briefly go over this because we haven't seen the movie, but these unfortunate reviewers have. Mario Galaxy, let's talk about it. I have a really funny review to read.
And I will just go and throw this out there that by the time this podcast comes out, we will probably have both already seen the movie, and there's a good chance if you're interested in the movie, you might have seen it by the time this comes out too. So just bear that in mind. It's just we're recording this like the day before it officially launches. But yeah, what was the review you were gonna read?
Cool. You might think Mario fucking murdered this man's family. This is from The Times. You know what? All right, guess the score that this person gave.
Well, based on what you're saying, I'm going to say like a 1 out of 10 or something.
Dude, he gave it a 0. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, I right away, I already disagree with the idea of giving something a 0.
Let me read it. Let me read the synopsis from Metacritic. This is by the man named Kevin Maher. The film is torturous to sit through and, for me, provoked periods of actual physical discomfort. I had to stab myself repeatedly in the hand with a pen to distract from the howling distress. It's that bad and that offensive.
I think I'm gonna be honest, Donovan. I think that's rage bait.
That's gotta be.
I'm not gonna fall into it.
It can't be that bad.
It's because as soon as they said 0 out of 10, I was like, okay, this is rage bait. Yeah, the one I saw was this reviewer said it's worse than AI. Which that's also insane. Wow. That's insane. I think, okay, I'm going to go and put this take out there. I think regardless of how you perceive any piece of media to be, if there was no AI involved, it is innately better than an AI product because it's human, at least some level of human input going into it.
It might not be good human input, but...
Well, but that's the thing though, is once it, like, I mean, it could easily shift towards a meta conversation about like the subjectivity of art versus just being about the Mario Galaxy movie. But like, I mean, just because reviewer X doesn't like it doesn't mean that you listening to the podcast won't like it. And this could go for any movie literally ever. Yeah. Like, I'm sure there's someone out there, like insert any critically acclaimed, like, I don't know, Empire Strikes Back. There's probably someone out there that hates that movie, like genuinely. I don't know.
You see, I can't speak. The Rotten Tomatoes score of the movie, last I saw it, with around 53 reviewers, it has a 43%, which means how Rotten Tomatoes, it's not a 43 out of 10. That means 43% of 52 reviewers thought it was good. which is not the greatest, but
but also the thing with Rotten Tomatoes and especially like a Mario movie is a lot of people are going to be review bombing it one way or the other.
Oh yeah, there's like a 53-year-old who doesn't know anything about video games. He probably doesn't know where the L button is. Probably watched this movie and rated it terribly.
Right, but conversely, there's going to be a lot of like bootlickers that don't know anything about movies that are also going to be saying the opposite, where it's like, oh, this is like exactly what I wanted, 10 out of 10, which if that's you, that's fair, whatever. Like I think if you love the Mario movie and it's like you enjoyed every second of it, that's fine. But I do think that I'm assuming that the movie is going to be somewhere in line with my thoughts on the original movie, especially based on what seemingly like the sensible people are saying. I can't remember which publication put this review out, but they were essentially saying the animation was beautiful, which based on the trailers, that's not shocking. I mean, it looks great. That like there's a fuck ton of fan service, like Easter eggs galore.
Keys jingling.
Which I'm going to be honest, because they were saying that it's kind of like a table dressing situation where it's mostly Easter eggs, much like the original movie. Apparently the plot is pretty basic and there's not a ton to digest. If that's true, that's pretty disappointing because that's kind of what I wanted them to dive into more with the movie, not necessarily giving it some kind of crazy plot. Because can I address this tweet? Because I replied to it today, and it
was it from Choctopus?
Yeah, it was the Choctopus tweet.
I love Choctopus, but that was a bad take.
Yeah, I like Choctopus's content too. Like I'm not. I really don't. I'm not trying to like dog on him, but like this tweet, dude, holy shit. So basically, the original was them reposting one of their other tweets saying, quote unquote, the story is bad is a great way to say that you've never played a mainline Mario game, lol. To which I said, please tell me this is satire. Because like, actually, please tell me that's satire. Because I think that there's like a fundamental disconnect there with what is important with a game, specifically a Mario game, versus what's important in a movie. Yes, in a mainline Mario game, the closest we've ever gotten to story being prevalent was Super Mario Galaxy, and even then it wasn't that prevalent. Like, yeah, you had Rosalina's storybook, you had the bombastic presentation style. It was still a Mario game.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the story is the game. But in terms of a movie, a story is pretty much key.
Yeah, so, I mean, the narrative of a movie is what drives the movie. I mean, obviously, depending on what the movie is, like what's the intent of it, the intensity of like how much you're supposed to feel, whatever emotion, could range. I would anticipate with something like the Mario Galaxy or just the Mario movie in general, the main emotions that they're going for is either to make you laugh, to just kind of like give you a subtle smile, maybe tickle your nostalgia bone. Those are the main things that they're going for. I mean, at the end of the day, when a movie fails, at least from what I've learned from my film classes and just like common sense, the failure of a movie is making you feel nothing. If you just feel indifferent going into a movie, you're like, I feel like I wasted my time. That's a bad movie. I wasn't even anticipating that was going to be the case. Like I was thinking it was going to be one of those things where I go in and it's, I maybe chuckle a couple times. I have fun, like catching the Easter eggs that everyone's talking about, like what happened with the first movie. And it'd be one of those things where I don't think I wasted my time, but it's not, revolutionary. But I was ideally hoping that at least there would be some kind of narrative, some kind of like character development, because last time there was like none of that. It was just so cookie cutter, which once again, I'm not hating on the movie. It was fun, but like, I think it would be cool if we had that, but seemingly that isn't the case.
The biggest criticism of the first Mario movie was that the pacing was too fast.
Oh, it was so fast.
We really hoped that they would learn from that, but I think they learned the wrong lessons from its success, and these reviewers are saying that it kind of doubles down on the pacing, and it it's at breakneck speeds. It's at hyper speed.
Yeah, it's at Mr. Beast video levels of pacing.
That is not what we want. Or, well, some people might want that, but I personally did not want. I wanted them to slow down a bit and really focus on character moments and moments that will make me feel something, not just fleeting memories.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I was wanting from the movie originally, which I already kind of accepted the fate that this was not going to happen, the more and more we saw of the movie, was for it to really bring to life that Super Mario Galaxy narrative, or I don't want to say narrative because, like, once again, as much as I do love like the Rosalina storybook, that was about all that the game was really pushing for in terms of story. Which, once again, it was more than basically any other mainline Mario game even dares to do. Anyway, I really loved the style of Galaxy and Rosalina's storybook and Rosalina as a character, and I was hoping that they were going to really dive into that with this movie. Like, that's what I was hoping for as soon as it was announced. But the more and more we see of it, we're seeing more and more references from other games. And then this brings us to the other talking point, is that it was revealed that Star Fox was in the game, which voiced by Glenn Powell, because we just have the all-star cast of A-list actors in this movie. Yeah, as soon as I saw that Star Fox was revealed, first of all, why would they announce it a week before the movie comes out? Like, I mean, if that's gonna be such a cool little like thing that they're throwing in, is like having it almost be an Avengers level, like, whoa, that the characters in the movie. Like, why would they just, like, imagine if right before Endgame came out, they were like, oh yeah, fucking Iron Man dies at the end. Well, obviously this isn't the same thing. They're not posting a spoiler of a plot point, but still.
I think before this was revealed, I already knew this movie is shaping up to be a mess. There's so many characters. What is going on?
Well, that's how you know the pacing is going to be fast, because they can't possibly dive into any of these characters.
When they showed Star Fox, I'm like, all right, I think this movie might be fucking insane.
Yeah, because, like,
what is happening?
Okay, and we're going to touch on the Nate the Hate leaks in a minute, but it also makes it pretty probable that we're getting something Star Fox related, and this is purely marketing for whatever that Star Fox thing is. It's obviously probably marketing. I mean, once again, we haven't seen the movie. Maybe Star Fox actually has some very clever implementation. I highly doubt that that's the case. Once again, it's Illumination making the movie. Like, I think I'm honestly kind of upset at myself for expecting anything more than what we're seemingly getting, like as if it's like a Pixar movie or some shit.
I just wish they would actually compete with Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks.
I would love to have some kind of like moral or some shit.
I saw, what is it called? Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Oh yeah, that's DreamWorks.
Yeah, great sequel. It had fun, callbacks and fun little references. Amazing story. Why can't Illumination and Nintendo strive for that type
money
of storytelling? Yeah, I guess money.
Because the first movie they didn't do that, and they made over $1 billion. So now, I mean, financially, they don't have an incentive to do that.
Yeah, I mean, this movie's gonna cross $1 billion. No
easily.
Questions.
Easily.
I mean, it's purely because, one, it's Mario, and two, you can't get anything else like this. You can't get Mario Galaxy anywhere.
Dude, the all-star list of actors that they have in this movie is probably going to drive ticket sales alone, let alone how big the first movie was. Yeah. I don't hate in concept the idea of having this movie basically setting up this massive expanse of characters, let alone non-Mario characters. In theory, that's fine. I was really hoping conceptually that they would really have this be like a Mario Galaxy movie. I thought that'd be so cool. So, I mean, that part's a little bit disappointing. Yeah, it's I already kind of accepted that that's the direction it was going though. In terms of what you were saying about, like, I wish this could have been more than just an Illumination movie. Like, it could have kind competed with, those other animated movie studios. And it goes into the idea that like, because it's an animated movie, it's for kids. So why does any of this matter? And I hate that idea so much. And we've already kind of seen it online in the discourse where it's like, I mean, like, why does it matter? It's just a Mario movie. The people watching it are little kids and hardcore fans who were going to watch the movie anyway and probably like the movie anyway.
It's the Spider-Verse movies. On the surface, it's Spider-Man for kids, but like amazing for adults.
Yeah, obviously, like, yes, to an extent, the main demographic that Nintendo is going for and these animated movies, I'll say, like, okay, let's say we're comparing it to Pixar. I'll use The Incredibles as a Pixar rep, or Inside Out, or Ratatouille, or insert any Pixar movie with a incredibly enriching theme once you actually dive into it. Those movies are still at its core marketed to kids and families. I mean, The Incredibles literally is a family. It literally, those movies at its core, that's what they're going for. But they have such a unique way of telling a story with layers beneath seemingly what's just like a basic theme. I mean, I remember I wrote a whole essay for a class about Ratatouille, and like all sorts of things about what they were going for with that movie. Like that's the type of, I wasn't even wanting them to go that deep as Pixar with, especially in Pixar's prime, just, a little bit deeper, like, maybe some kind of like motivation for the characters, some kind of like unique trait beyond.
Other than, I don't like you.
Yeah. Yeah, other than just like Bowser is evil for the sake of being evil because or Bowser wants Peach and that's why he's going for her. Like, I know that that's how it is in the games, but this isn't a game, it's a movie. So, I think it'd be cool if we got a little bit more. But once again, I'm going to go in with the expectation of this is probably just going to be a fun, animated Illumination, fast-paced movie. So hopefully on that front, it won't disappoint me, but we'll probably talk about that next episode. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for the Galaxy movie. That was a long fucking discussion.
That was longer than anticipated.
Next is probably we can go through a quick little short segment before going into the other main topic for this episode. I think, was it yesterday or the day before where we had an update for Mario Kart World?
Apparently it was yesterday. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Overall, I think it was a good update. We have Bob on Blast for battle mode, finally we have another mode, but once again, I mean, this still isn't addressing other elements of battle mode that just makes it bad. For one thing, the arenas, but I mean, it's cool that we're getting Bob on Blast. Like, you have something else to play. I mean, I would love if I could have it my way, dude. Renegade Roundup.
That's such a banger. I love that. Why did they get rid of it?
Yeah, but it's cool that they, whatever. If you love Bob on Blast, it's here now. They also did some things with like the item meta. Apparently, I haven't really been playing like the competitive scene at all for Mario Kart World, so I wasn't even aware of like, which items were bad and whatnot. Apparently the boomerang. Apparently the boomerang got nerfed. Yeah, I watched Shortcat's video about the update beforehand to kind of, put myself up to speed about all of this. So apparently the boomerang, they lowered the amount of times you need to throw it before moving on to the next item, and they reduced the range of the first few throws. And then I love how we sound like a Mario Kart World podcast right now, like going into the nitty gritty of the update. Apparently the bullet bill also was buffed because they made it so you have a little bit more mobility while you're controlling it. And apparently there's some note about how they changed like the rates where items will spawn up, but it didn't seem like there's any definitive answer on what all that entails.
They changed some of the behaviors of being smashed by a thwomp, which is that's strange, but okay.
Yeah, I think all in all, though, this is another update that is still not addressing a lot of the things that could be. I mean, I think overall it was a positive update. Like, it had a positive impact on the game. There's just other things I'm still kind of waiting on. And once again, this is as someone that is I think at this point I can solidify myself as a Mario Kart World defender. Like,
last episode you were saying you were writing its D, like doing tricks on it.
Yeah, well, I'm doing tricks on it, Donovan. I am. Yeah, I love Mario Kart World. I still don't think I definitely don't think it's a perfect game. Hence why I'm saying that there's things that a potential update could mitigate or fix with the game rather. Whether that be, improving the online, because that is probably still the biggest Achilles heel of the game, or, everyone loves to talk about the DLC or lack thereof with Mario Kart World. Some kind of update giving us DLC would be cool.
Which is something that Nate the Hate has reported.
Oh yeah, that's a great segue. Moving into the big news. By the time this episode comes out, this is gonna be so
doing
old.
A podcast on the topic of another podcast.
Yeah, I really like how I've noticed this every single time we talk about news. It's always like at least a week and a half before or after the news actually came out, which I feel like it adds to our charm a little bit. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're reliving the news. We had a big leak from Nate the Hate, who is a pretty known and pretty trusted leaker. So Donovan, do you want to read us the headlines from the leak?
Yeah. I've listened to Nate the Hate's podcast.
Wait, before you even get started, the keyword leak. These are not confirmed.
They're not confirmed. He is very reliable, but I think something Nate the Hate does is make his statements pretty vague. He'll say a key word, but he won't go into too much detail, but that's probably because he doesn't know all that much. But he is pretty reliable, pretty almost perfect track record. I mean, his podcast is alongside a Modern Vintage Gamer who is an actual game developer, so I wouldn't be surprised if he has actual connections that are legitimate. Again, these are leaks, and some of them are pretty surprising, and some of them are disappointing. It's like a roller coaster. Firstly, let's talk about that good old Star Fox game. I don't know if this article covers it, but I believe he said there was not one, but two types of Star Fox games releasing in the near future. One is definitely releasing in summer 2026, and that could probably be corroborated by Star Fox inclusion in the Mario Galaxy movie.
Well, it's not official corroboration, but it definitely makes sense.
It's the telltale signs. There's some red herrings. Oh no, not. Where there's smoke, there's fire. This Star Fox game seems to be a return to form, back to basics, on-rail shooter. Typical Star Fox game. Thoughts?
I mean, well, I'm wondering if it's going to be another Star Fox Star Fox 64 like
again.
Which I've said on the podcast before how I was like somewhat excited about the prospect of getting another remake of 64 just because of how much I love that game. But it does go against the idea that Star Fox does need to evolve in a meaningful way. So I'm definitely not wanting it to be another 64 repeat.
I want this Star Fox game. I'm not the biggest Star Fox fan, but if you want to sell me on this game, I want to see this be like a Mario Wonder situation or a Breath of the Wild situation. And I'm not talking about open world.
Yeah,
but I'm talking about a reinvention. A statement saying that, hey, Star Fox is cool and we can still be fresh and innovative.
I mean, or like Mario Kart World to an extent too.
Yeah,
just
to
like
an extent.
Shifting the design of the series or like the status quo of what you
Star
expect.
Fox Zero is what happens when a series is stagnant, when you can't break away from old series traditions and you just want to cling on to the past. And it really hurt them. And if they want to do that again, I'm sorry, I'm not buying. I don't think I'll be buying. So I hope for the best. I hope that they are ambitious with this game. What's interesting is that there's not one but two different Star Fox games they're working on. One of them is, I believe Nate the Hate said, is a little bit similar to Adventures. So I think Ivan's ears might have perked up a little bit.
Wait, they're doing another adventure style game? I didn't even see that part of the leak. That is a little
strange.
Because wasn't that game... Okay, I've never played Adventures, but I've watched a few videos talking about it. I feel like I've heard things that were questioning the design of the game itself. Or was it mainly just like because I remember people saying that they like
It's
the on rails
like
section.
Zelda Light.
Yeah, well, I remember that was like one of the last games that Rare made for Nintendo too. But I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to talk about Adventures because I haven't played it, so I'm talking out of my ass right now. But I've definitely heard criticisms about it.
It's strange that they're making two different Star Fox games. It feels like, I want to say it might confuse the perception of what a Star Fox game is. Like, is it an on-rail shooter? Is it a 3D adventure game?
Well, I mean, would it be a case where they market whatever the other game is purely as a spin-off, like even lowering the price tag, so that way it's very easily understood in the consumer's mind that this is like secondary to the main event, which is, whatever the main line Star Fox game would be.
I don't know. I'm not very interested in that. I'm more so interested in the classic style Star Fox game Nate the Hate was talking about. He said that the classic style visuals are apparently very good, which I hope to see on a Switch 2 game. I feel like a cinematic galactic space adventure could look really, really cool on Switch 2, and we've kind of seen that already with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And he says that there also is online multiplayer. I've heard pretty good things about dogfighting in Star Fox games, so I'm hoping that they actually go hard on an online multiplayer and actually make it like somewhat competent. Something like Splatoon 3, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, or Mario Kart World to an extent. I want it to be like that, in depth, not just a one-off minigame like Meet Up in Bell Park or Merry Magoland or Mario Party minigames. Something substantial. That's what I kind of want to see.
Okay, but if there is one element of Star Fox 64 that I want them to have prevail in the series, it's the writing of the characters. Like, I want... and the voice acting too. I remember the voice acting of 64 was impeccable. I remember like it nailed that balance between like campiness, but still being like fun at the same time, without being corny. I would love for them to, I'm not telling them to, or I'm not saying to, do exactly what they did with 64, obviously, but to have that same kind of emphasis on, how endearing both the voice acting and the writing is. Like, make whatever characters, if they keep the same roster or if they introduce new people, make them captivating. I think that is one of the biggest pull factors for Star Fox as a franchise. It's just how iconic Falco, Slippy Toad, like all the characters are. So that would be one thing I would love to see. But I remember I did a video talking about ideal like Switch 2 games to one day get. And I think Star Fox was one of the ones that I brought up. And I think one of my ideas, I can't remember what I said because this was so long ago. I think I said like a Space Sim Star Fox game could be interesting. That could teeter towards what we were just talking about with like, make it open world. I want to be able, I want Star Fox, but No Man's Sky edition, which I'm not even necessarily, like, I think the idea of an open world Star Fox game could work. In theory, it's just like, I think there is like, there's a prevailing presence the more and more time goes on where people just kind of want every single series to be open world. In a way, it's like the Breath of the Wild effect. But yeah, either way, I think if they are making a Star Fox game, just do something new with it. That's basically what I don't think that there's not a specific type of thing I want to see. Just give us something to, take a step forward with the franchise.
My question, this is my last question, and then we'll move on to the other games that he's mentioned, but who's developing this game? Is it in-house Nintendo EPD, or is it like, I mean, last time Platinum Games made Star Fox Zero, so is it like a handoff situation? Could it be Next Level Games for some reason? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait to see. Here's some games that we do know that definitely exist and apparently will have release dates. Splatoon Raiders, remember that game? There's like literally no news. Apparently it's launching this summer as well. Finally.
Which, okay, pause on that one. This is where I'm starting to question the validity of the leak in full. Like, obviously parts of this could be true. Splatoon Raiders coming out in summer and we still know nothing about it, especially with the fact that there's so little else. Like, at the moment, the only other main game that we know a lot about that's coming soon is like Tomodachi Life, and that's not even summer. That's like basically spring. The idea of having a game that is pretty significant with Splatoon Raiders that Nintendo's done literally no marketing for whatsoever, but to have it still be coming out in the window of like June to August, I'm not saying it can't be true, but like, I'm not buying it. I think if that's when Splatoon Raiders was coming out, we would know something. Because Splatoon, I mean, even though it's a spin-off for Splatoon, like, Splatoon is still a big player for Nintendo. Like, I think that they would have done some marketing for the game.
I'm excited for this game. It's just, is the lack of marketing a telltale sign?
What the fuck is the game?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what I'm excited for. Is this a sign
that Nintendo's telling us that the game isn't the biggest thing in the world? It's just a funny little side game, little project that they've been working on and they want to, release it. Do they just have small ambitions for this game? Judging by their marketing, I'm assuming, I think their ambitions might be a little bit smaller than what everyone's imagining.
Well, I don't know, but I'm not saying that. I think what I'm seeing by the lack of marketing more so to me indicates that it's just going to come out later. Because I just think that they haven't even started the marketing cycle yet for it, which would only make sense if it's coming out, say, like holiday season. And then they start marketing like in summer or like within the next month or so.
I think their shortest I remember they announced Metroid Dread in June and then it released in October. That's like 4 months. So that's probably like the bare minimum. We're getting pretty close to that 4-month period. I mean, if Nate the Hate says summer, I'm betting the end of summer is like August, September.
Yeah, the end of summer is the only way that could make sense. And I still find that like the 4-month window for Metroid Dread, obviously, I mean, critically wise, that's like one of the best Switch games. How many units did Metroid Dread sell? I mean, it's a Metroid game, so I doubt it sold
3.5 million.
Okay, I feel like, well, for Metroid, that's like solid. I don't know. I'm leaning towards that's not the case. Obviously, it could happen. It's Nintendo we're talking about. Like there's no predicting what the fuck they're gonna do. All right, what was the next one?
Apparently, their summer is pretty stacked, but stacked could vary. A couple Switch 2 editions. Pikmin 4 Nintendo Switch 2 edition, releasing in summer 2026. They already released a update, just a good old update for Pikmin 4. No Switch 2 features, but apparently a Switch 2 edition is coming soon. Does that include like a Starcross World or Meet Up in Bellabelle Park situation, or is it just like an Animal Crossing or Xenoblade X situation where it's just upgraded features, looks nicer, mouse controls, mouse controls could actually be a pretty cool game changer not so much of a game changer, but pretty cool feature for Pikmin 4. But is that kind of it? I'm hoping for story content, so basically Starcross World situation where they have extra stuff, Meet Up in Bellabelle Park kind of thing. Yeah, kind of odd that they're doing it now, even though they released a regular old Switch 1 update. I guess that goes to show that Nintendo still believes in Pikmin 4 specifically, so much so that 3 years later, and after one regular ass update, they just want to release a Switch 2 edition now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Pikmin 4, so I don't have a ton to say about this. I think it would be cool if this were the case, because wasn't one of the flaws of Pikmin 4 the frame rate?
Not so much the frame rate, more so the lock-on controls, which I didn't even have a problem with that much, but people sometimes found it annoying. I believe if they included mouse controls, it would be very similar to pointer controls on the Wii and Wii U, which would make throwing Pikmin so much more easier.
It would be cool, but isn't it weird with like the update that Pikmin 4 had not too long ago?
Yeah, why? It's very strange as to their strategy with Pikmin 4.
But once again, it's Nintendo.
Yeah,
it's Nintendo.
It's like, oh wait, people actually care about this game. All right, let's make a Switch 2 edition right now. I don't know. Either way, if this Switch 2 edition does release, Mr. Dean, I implore you to pick up this version. It'll most likely be the definitive version of one of Nintendo's greatest games.
Well, I mean, I already was talking to you about how like Pikmin's a series I want to play more of, just period. Like regardless of whether this Switch 2 edition happens, like Pikmin 4 is a game I'm going to get around to playing eventually. I still need to play the first 2 games too.
The next Switch 2 edition, we're pretty stacked on Switch 2 editions, is Xenoblade Chronicles 2, apparently also releasing in 2026. I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2. In fact, I have watched every single cutscene to the game in order to prep myself for Xenoblade 3. Do I think a Nintendo Switch 2 edition will fix the problems of a tropey plot? Yeah, basically just a tropey plot. No. But I believe a Switch 2 edition could bundle, Torn of the Golden Country, could probably clean up the monotonous tutorials and can beautifully increase the resolution and frame rate. I think this will make for a great Nintendo Switch 2 edition. If I have time, and I have a lot of games on my plate, if I have time, I probably will pick up basically Xenoblade 2 Definitive Edition. This is just...
Well, I feel like at the rate that you've been playing Hades and fucking...
Bro, yeah, I might...
This might be a year from now.
But it's, interesting. People saw that Monolith Soft posted a video with seemingly a better looking Xenoblade 2 clip, so maybe that was a telltale sign that a Nintendo Switch 2 edition was coming. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the best-selling Xenoblade game. This will just get it into even more hands and make the game even more beautiful. So there's that. Now, we've talked a lot about summer, but we haven't talked about an actual Nintendo Direct. A Nintendo Direct, unfortunately, is not releasing in April or May. Nate the Hate has not heard any sources corroborating that it will be a May Direct or an April Direct. There are some signs that a June Direct is going to happen, and I think that that's a very likely possibility. I think a lot of Nintendo fans, quote unquote, are going to lose their shit that they haven't had, not naming names, but they're going to lose their shit because it's been so long since a general Nintendo Direct. By the way, those quote unquote Nintendo fans, they're really only there to see Mario, Zelda, Smash, Pokemon. But I can't blame them. But also, there's Pikmin 4, there's Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there's Splatoon Raiders, there's Star Fox.
I think it's weird. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm eating goldfish right now, so but I do think it's weird whenever, or I think I used to be more so like this, where I would get annoyed whenever there would be a long gap between directs, but at the same time, the more and more I've thought about it, it's it gives me more time to tackle my backlog in the meantime. And in terms of the whole thing about oh, but what if there's no 3D Mario? I really want to play the next 3D Mario game. I'm hyped for whatever the next 3D Mario game will inevitably be. But there's so many games that, like you were just talking about with Pikmin, we were talking about Star Fox earlier. There's so many other Nintendo franchises that the developers care a lot about. As much as I want a new 3D Mario game, there's other food on the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's just a lot of games to play other than Bing Bing Wahoo.
With that being said, though, waiting until June for a Direct, that is a long gap. I'm curious about what Nintendo's strategy is here.
It is a long gap, and there's apparently, according to this leak, a lot of games that are releasing in that summer, so very short turnaround time, but okay. As you were talking about 3D Mario, we have some bad news, folks. 2027. Nintendolan, cover your ears. Someone check his pulse.
I'm not fully surprised. I was thinking that 3D Mario would be the holiday game this year because it logically makes sense as a system seller, but I guess it makes sense because the DK Bonanza thing, whatever. But, of course, that may make you wonder, okay, well then what is it for 2026? Apparently, we're getting the remake of Ocarina of Time supposedly is real. Whenever I suggested that, I was half joking. I love the idea of a full-on Ocarina of Time remake. If we're looking at it from the perspective of being a system seller, I don't know.
I think it'll be
remake, though?
I think it'll be a system seller.
I mean, I'll buy it if it's real.
I'm definitely buying it,
cool.
but to the average consumer, probably to people that have never played Ocarina of Time and don't even know that it's an old game, I think it could be a system seller.
That's true. Well, but it's also like we've already had a remake of Ocarina of Time before. That's really true. Good remake, mind you.
In my opinion, we talked about this before. I would much rather have a Twilight Princess 4K, a full Twilight Princess remake where they just completely redo the visuals, make it look beautiful. This is their most mature looking Zelda game. Imagine that with the hardware of a PS4. That would look amazing. I think they would do that with Ocarina of Time. It's just that we've already had Ocarina of Time 3D, and Twilight Princess is not available to play on the Switch at all, and it just felt like the logical 3D Zelda 2 remake because it is the only one not available to play on Switch.
Well, and it's also just like, I think Twilight Princess, obviously it's had a remake before, not nearly as substantial as what Ocarina of Time was.
It was just HD.
I think Twilight Princess needs a remake more than Ocarina of Time needs a remake. Like, honestly, Ocarina of Time 3D is great. Like, I don't think it needs another. I mean, obviously, if it gets another one where it's 60 FPS, like 4K, whatever, awesome. Like, I'll buy it and I'll play it.
I'm not
I'll
complaining.
Probably love it.
Ocarina of Time is the highest rated game ever. I really like Ocarina of Time. It is the de facto Zelda game for a reason. Every time people think of, basic Zelda, they think Ocarina of Time or A Link to the Past, but Ocarina of Time mostly comes to mind.
If this means more people are going to play Ocarina of Time and experience it, then great. I believe one of your friends had a question for us to answer, Donovan.
Yes, we have a question from my friend Jonathan. Name a favorite moment in any game that you have. Something that has stuck with you.
Favorite moment? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is from Metroid Prime. I remember the first time I was playing that game, whenever I was in Phendrana Drifts inside of the lab, and you get was it the thermal visor that you get at the bottom of, the thermal visor, and then the lights go out, and then the Metroids like break out of the glass, and then you have to like go all the way back up. And I remember I genuinely like got scared the first time I played the game. And it was like that thing where I had to like pause the game and like catch my breath. I was like, fuck.
Damn.
And obviously some people are going to hear that and be like, dude, what a fucking pussy. Like, because it's Metroid Prime. I mean, obviously like it's a tense moment, but like, I mean, it's not even the most tense moment in that game.
It just goes to show how immersive it all feels.
Yeah, and it's also like I'm also just a bitch whenever it comes to horror. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like I get scared very easily, as you can tell. Yeah, I just remember that moment was like the moment where I was playing and I was like, damn, I love this game.
I love that moment where where everything just turns black, and I had the same reaction as you. Oh fuck. One of my favorite moments in any game is a boss battle in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. You have to listen to the music yourself, Mr. Dean, because I thought I was fighting any old boss. It's just like, all right, these guys are named Mobius. There's multiple Mobius around the world, and they control this particular spot of land. All right, no biggie. But then when the music chimes in, and this is like a choir playing over some heavy rock. Initially, the choir is singing, and it just rises and rises. That moment, I felt like, oh my god, what am I fighting? What is this abomination before me? And the music does a lot in Xenoblade 3, and it does a lot of storytelling, but this simple boss music, it told me that this guy is these Mobius guys are some otherworldly being. They have fucked up the world, and you do not want to mess with them. It genuinely made me... I paused myself. My body was shook. My jaw was agape. I'm like, I just thought this was just the boss of the chapter. I didn't know I was fighting Satan or something. And like, it's It's so good. The music is chilling. It gives me goosebumps to this day. And the fact that that's not even the best track in the game it's just an amazing soundtrack for Xenoblade 3.
I think that bro likes Xenoblade 3.
I think that I think I like the game. It's generally one of my favorite moments when fighting or encountering a boss in any game.
Damn, all right. Well, sounds good. Well, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you, John. You said Jonathan, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan, for the question. And I mean, it's been a while since we've done questions. If anyone listening to this does have questions, we still do have a text channel in our server called Ask the Host, where if you have any questions like gaming related or not gaming related, you're welcome to do that, and we'll answer on the show, as long as it's within reason, of course. So that was Donovan. I have to say that before someone goes like, "How big is your penis?" You know what I mean? Like I got
favorite race.
Yeah. What is the correct religion? All right. So thank you everyone for listening to the special hour episode 38. Donovan, if the people enjoyed you or the things you had to say or your voice or whatever, or your aura, where can they find you on the internet?
I'm DonovanDud. I think by the time this releases, I'll actually watch the Mario movie and I will make a video on that. It'll be very interesting.
Well, that has nothing to do with what I just asked you, but...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on YouTube. DonovanDud.
Wait, I'm sorry. That was a bit... Donovan, I'm sorry.
I'm on Discord, the Nintendo Boys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. MrDean is places.
Did you say Mr. Dean places? I am on YouTube, MrDean44, your typical Nintendo content. I'm also on both Twitter and Blue Sky. And I have a Discord server called the Dean Kingdom. Once again, your typical Discord shenanigans. Bye.
Bye.